Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Patrick Parker. Patrick, it's great to connect with you. Your company, SaaSpartners.io. Get your custom app built, launched, and in the hands of your ideal users. One of the things I love about this podcast is I'm a business coach. I work with successful people who are stuck, and I get them unstuck. And I love having guests on the show because they get clients unstuck. And one of the things that I get asked a lot is, hey, Jon, do you know anybody who knows how to build an app? Nobody seems to have somebody who knows how to build an app. And you're working with transforming and aspiring entrepreneurs to in this field. And so talk about the type of people that are looking for an app. Because I always hear, I can't find a company that does an app.
Yeah, absolutely. They're far and few between, especially the good ones. But no, so we work with primarily early stage and growth stage entrepreneurs building custom software. So it could be anyone that is looking to launch a new venture, anyone that is looking to automate or streamline different aspects of their business. We have a lot of folks come to us that have been in business for years and years, and they're not able to find software out there that meets their specific business model. So they end up coming to us and we build something that is literally tailored to the way that they operate, the way that they do business, and ultimately help them save time, money, and scale their business.
Yeah. So let's talk about because I always love talking about scaling businesses, but let's talk about the investment that you need to do in the app. And you don't have to give exact numbers, but the investment, the time, how to do it right, so that it works for you to actually use it as something that you can scale your company. So just kind of take us through the continuum a little bit.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, app development is all going to be priced based on the feature sets. So if you have a very straightforward app, say you're just trying to collect and organize different data points from your customer base or from your internal employees, staff, et cetera, then it's going to be straightforward. It's not going to take a long time to build. But as soon as you start getting into advanced feature sets, as soon as you start building more on the consumer side, then it can get quite expensive. So there is no kind of one size fits all. We literally price everything out and tailor it to the specific needs of that business. But at the end of the day, we try to make everything as affordable as possible. So you're not getting stuck with a $50,000 bill up front. A lot of times, you're able to price that out based on the different milestones that we're hitting within that schedule. So we try to make it affordable, especially for entrepreneurs and small business owners. A lot of the enterprise stuff that we do, I mean, it'll start mid six figures and go up into seven. So it just kind of depends again on the use cases, the size of the business, and then more importantly, what features we're actually going to be building into those platforms.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about rewind a little bit about the. I think sometimes what I see sometimes is companies, and I work with solopreneurs to Fortune companies and everything in between. But one of the things I see sometimes, Patrick, is that sometimes people aren't really zooming in on what a client is worth or what the lifetime value of a client is. And so when you say things like, hey, it could be this, it could be six figures, some people may think, well, that's a lot of money. But if you know your client and you can really zoom in, then you can really back into the investment that it is and what the ROI is. So can you talk a little bit about that and how people should be looking at something like this as an investment and not an expense, and how to really kind of zoom in on that?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. It all comes back to unit economics, right? So understanding what your customer acquisition cost is, understanding what that CAC payback time is. And then you have a lot of I'll say, tangential savings as well around the time that it saves you in terms of fulfilling service delivery, in terms of fulfilling product delivery, or a number of other value-added features that you can potentially use to extend your business, create new opportunities for revenue expansion, new opportunities to provide value-added services as well. So a lot of the customers that we see, and I'll give you an example of this in just a second, but a lot of the customers that we see are looking to do more with their business, right? And so they've basically hit a plateau wherein their growth has become stagnant because they are basically not enough hours in the day, right? So they are spending 40 hours a week on some mundane tasks that we can easily go in and automate through software, or they are just at a point where their business cannot do anymore, cannot grow anymore without some of that automation. And so, for example, we had a client that came to us who was a registered dietitian. She was running her business off of Facebook. And as you know, Facebook is not a great place to actually run a business, because you end up getting hit with the algorithm changes and are basically not in control of the platform that you own. So we ended up building out a software platform for her, and she was able to grow in the course of 18 months from 600,000 in revenue to over 3.2 million in revenue, just by us going in, providing a mechanism for service delivery, providing a lot of other automation around how she delivers her programs, around how she onboards her clients, how she provides accountability and tracking to those clients. And so that's something that's just one easy example of how people can look at automation and look at the opportunities that exist within owning your own platform and with using software to actually grow and scale your business.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about, and just the simplicity of things. It's amazing as we sit here in 2022 that, although it seems a little bit ago, it really wasn't until about 2008 where apps were beginning to become a mainstream thing, where you didn't, you didn't have it all in one place. Before we move into a quick speed round, I want to talk about this. Before the pandemic in 2020, there was an article written in I think it was the Huffington Post, that suggested that by the year 2030, 85% of the jobs that existed, that will exist in 2030, did not exist at that moment in time in 2020. And so over the next decade, we're going to see a lot of evolution, a lot of growth, a lot of innovation, a lot of change. How important is it to have an app and make things easy as we grow into this, throughout this decade?
Sure. I think the biggest thing is experience. Being able to provide an experience to your customers that draws them in, that creates that opportunity for engagement, for feedback, and to create loyalty. So it's one of those things where consumers at this point almost expect that. They almost expect your business to have an app, because at this point in time, mobile devices are literally an extension of themselves. So going forward, as we enter into the things like Web3 and the metaverse and everything else, it's going to become even more prevalent to have a presence at least on every single device, every single platform. And so again, I think it's that quote was ahead of its time, but that's definitely the way that things are trending.
Yeah, I love it. All right, quick speed round. You ready?
Ready.
A book that's had the biggest impact on you.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
So good. It's so good.
Great one.
I gave that to my kids, and I gave it to them again recently. And I told them, if you read this book and do a 1-page paper, I'll give you $100. Because to me, it's almost more important than any class or college class that they could take. It is an all-time classic. I love it.
And I love the learn and earn mentality too. I love that.
Yeah, me too. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Worst thing that anybody can ever tell you is no. Something my father used to say growing up. It was, don't be scared of rejection. The worst thing they can ever tell you is no. If you don't ask, you'll never get to yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Your hat says in progress. And so what's one thing that you are always in progress with?
Myself, learning, personal development. It's something that I spend a lot of time doing deep work so that I can grow, so that I can stay on top of all the innovation that's happening within the tech industry, and so that I can identify opportunities to continue growing and scaling my business and building relationships.
Yeah, in the same way. My dad gave me a set of tape sets when I was 18 by Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Success. I knew at that moment I wanted to be a business coach, and my path here was an internet company and commercial real estate, but I've never not spent a day learning. So I love to learn. I think it's great. I love that answer. Tell everybody who your ideal clients are and how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, we love driven entrepreneurs that are looking to do more with their business. So people that are looking to build software and understand the value and importance of creating economies of scale within their own business. The best way to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me by going to saaspartners.io. That's SAAS partners.io, or check me out anywhere that you scroll through your social feeds.
I love
Patrick
it.
B. Parker.
I love it. Patrick, I appreciate you being on the show. People's attention spans are less, so I love doing these in 10 minutes, but I feel like they're always so packed with great content based on something you said. And then I echo that about learning. I think everyday learning is something that is absolutely critical to stay ahead of real time of what you're doing and what you're thinking and how you're moving and how you're forecasting. One of my favorite TED Talks is by a gentleman named Jeff Hoffman, who is the founder of Priceline. It's called The Power of Wonder. I don't know if you've seen it, Patrick, but it's incredible. And one of the things he talks about is that the way he was able to, I want to say, even come up with Priceline or does it every day to stay ahead, is he does something called info sponging, which is 15 minutes of studying every day outside of his industry to figure out the indicators and forecast things that will affect his industry. And it's a great TED Talk. He's a great guy from what I can see from the TED Talk. I don't know him personally, but never stop learning, the community. And if that path takes you to an app, check out saaspartners.io and reach out to Patrick. Patrick, it was a pleasure having you on this show. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, John. Thanks for having me.